What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new, howdy, my name's Fern. So today we're actually going to be checking out a very cool new stereo wireless system from XTUGA. You're probably thinking like, what the heck is XTUGA? So did I when the company reached out, but they sent me this stereo wireless system for review. We're going to be unboxing it together, checking out the build quality, how everything is packed, and then I'm going to show you guys how I integrate this within my own system, and at the end of the video I'm going to go ahead and just give it an overall review. All of the thoughts and opinions that I express are going to be my own. So yeah, buckle in, we're going to unbox this thing together. Oh, beautiful. This looks awesome. So this kit is supposed to come with the wireless transmitter, which can send out signal on 2 different bands, 2 of the wireless packs, and it's supposed to come with the in-ear monitors themselves too, so that's going to be pretty handy. First impressions, everything is packed super well. I mean, you guys can see this. This looks really nice. Tons of protection. This padding is like nice and firm. You got a gigantic instruction booklet that's gonna detail all the specifics of the system. We'll probably give this a once over here in a bit. I'm gonna just lay everything out so you guys can check out what all comes with this kit. So again, pretty nice kit for the money. We've got the wireless transmitter itself, 2 wireless packs, 2 sets of in-ears, and then 4 full cables for stereo mix, and then 2 individual chargers for the wireless packs. So it's going to be cool because this is a stereo setup. So unlike other personal in-ear monitor systems, those are mono. So you can only send 1 lane of audio. So like, it doesn't matter if you're sending 1 item or 5 different channels of audio, it all gets sent down that 1 stream. So with a system like this, it's going to have a little bit more separation because now you can pan things out. You're gonna have this full stereo feed into your in-ears, and that's gonna allow you to kind of have a little bit of a better mix because you're not gonna have everything just smushed down the center. You're actually gonna be able to have a little bit of separation between all your different elements. We'll go ahead and throw this into my rack and I'll show you how I've routed everything. You're probably looking at this and you're like, what the heck is all this? This is my live rack. I've been using this thing for a number of years to control my band's shows, control our in-ear systems, also to house my trigger modules and stuff. Yeah, everything is pretty much self-contained inside this rack. I just roll this thing up. I have my own headphone feed. We have a little 4-channel interface, a MIDI sender if we need that, and then we have a rack mount DI. So I was going to throw this unit in, and I noticed one problem immediately, which was the feet. This actually makes it slightly bigger than 1U. All these just pop off. You just have to pull them with a little bit of force. So it'll slot in just like that. As you guys can see, I have everything powered on the front of the unit. So my big concern right now is actually figuring out how I'm going to send signal to the XTUGA.
So because I was trying to integrate a couple other things into the system, it was a little convoluted trying to just lay it all out. I ended up making this diagram to kind of help me keep everything organized. The important notes are that the audio is coming out of the interface and going into the XTUGA. And because my interface only has a limited number of inputs and outputs, I'm only using 2 channels on the XTUGA and sending both wireless packs to that. Once I had everything routed and tested, I was kind of confused because I couldn't get the transmitters to really change bands or do anything. As you can see here, I'm just kind of clicking on everything, and the only 2 options that come up are the volume and the tone, which just cycles between mono and stereo. So what I learned is you have to hit the set button on either channel and a little IR thing comes up and you have to point the wireless pack at it. That then syncs that wireless pack to that channel and changes the band. This is really the only way to change the wireless bands as well, so if you're running into any interference, you have to deal with it from the rack unit itself, but once you get it set up, it's pretty much ready to go. Now it's time for testing. So I ended up comparing the unit to my actual hardline, which is just a direct output coming out of my personal mixer, and quality-wise, they're pretty much the same. There's no obvious quality loss going on from the wireless transmission. There was no like weird delay or anything either. Here in this clip that you guys are watching, this is from a rehearsal. I ended up having the wireless pack as well as our bass player. He really enjoyed it, and it was probably the tightest I've ever seen him play because he could hear my drums as well as the click feed. Once we got the quality tested, I wanted to test out the range for the unit as well, so I set up the camera pretty much in line with where the transmitter was in the other room, walked all the way down this hallway, which is honestly bigger than a lot of stages that most people are going to be playing, and experienced no signal loss, no quality loss. It wasn't until I left the building entirely and went outside through multiple layers of concrete walls and stuff that I even started to get any sort of like signal breakup. So really good wireless range. As far as durability, I haven't really had the unit for a long time, but it did have an out-of-town gig, so I had to transport the entire rig in the back of my truck. truck about an hour and a half. I also completely beamed one of the wireless packs across the room after taking it out of my pocket once, and it is held up totally fine. So big plus on that. So after all of this testing, I felt pretty confident in trying this unit out at a real show. The only thing I noticed was a very small amount of static, like underlying static, that you don't really hear once you start playing and there's some music going on. I did have one like audio clipping or like cutting out thing at the end of the set, but it wasn't really enough to affect the playback or the performance. Great range, as I mentioned, so no issues there from either myself or Ruben. He actually had no issues during the show. The only, I guess, con is that the included earbuds are a little cheap, but, you know, for the price of the unit and for the inclusion of everything else, I think that's a passable thing, and you can always just upgrade to a dedicated set of in-ears like I have. So let's go ahead and rate this thing. So packaging, I have to give it a 5 out of 5 because everything was packed really well. For performance, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 because of the intermittent audio issues, and also the included earbuds are really cheap, but again, you can just upgrade. And lastly, for the value of the unit, this has to get a 5 out of 5. Right now on the XTUGA website, this unit comes in at about $220, which is pretty insane when you compare it to other competitors' offerings for a single channel with mono feeds only. So I honestly don't know how they're operating at this price point and still making it profitable, but hey, if you can snag one of these units now before they discontinue it and figure it out, I'd say do it.